Hi and welcome to Ryder Cup, the roundup with me, Diane Knox, here at Whistling Straits after day one, and I'm going to be talking to this guy. So it's very windy out here, but we are standing in a gorgeous location, and I am so happy to introduce Riggs from Barstool. Is that the right way to intro you?
That's perfect. I'll take it.
Okay, right. Well, you are probably the most famous person at Whistling Straits right now, and I say that because we're riding around in a golf cart for 5 minutes. There's probably 100 people that were shouting your name. I take it this happens all the time.
Look, Barstool Sports has had a little bit of a meteoric rise, I would say, in the last 5 or 6 years. So yeah, luckily people know who we are. We're here in the Midwestern part of the United States. I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Missouri, so it feels good. A little bit of a warm welcome, but yeah, it's nice. It's nice to be kind of recognized. Apparently people like what we do, which is cool, but we're not very good at golf, so if they saw that, you might get a little bit of a different reception.
Well, for those that don't know, and it sounds like the minority, but tell us what Barstool is and what you do.
Yeah, so Barstool Sports, founded by my boss, Dave Portnoy. We're kind of an alternative media company that's raw, that's real, that covers sports, similar to a couple guys, a couple gals sitting at a bar stool talking about their favorite game, their favorite team, the Ryder Cup, etc. And we've kind of grown that into a lot of different verticals, a lot of different sports, entertainment, pop culture, and we happen to kind of cover the golf aspect of it. So we do podcasts, we post a lot of videos, we write blogs, we're on social media nonstop. So yeah, we kind of brought the whole Barstool ethos to the golf world.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is an ethos, you're right. You're with your boys who you do your podcast with, but we are taking you as part of our team this week. And we're going to go into this later on, but you are basically an American, clearly, but supporting Team Europe. And we actually have a little gift for you to welcome you to the team.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like gifts like this. Oh, yeah.
You need it. And it's also very windy out here right now.
It's windy. I like this. I put this puppy on?
Yeah. I mean, you're officially part of Team Europe, so it's only right.
To be honest with you.
Watch that Barstool hat, though. We'll have fans trying to grab that as Riggs' hat. There you go.
How do I look?
Oh, man, I love it. That's your official welcome.
I got to say, I'm cozy.
To the European Tour.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys are very, hospitable. You're accommodating. It's great.
We do try.
Thank you.
We're going to get into the reasons why you are supporting Team Europe this week. But first of all, day one is over. And I just want to get your thoughts very quickly on, what you think of Whistling Straits, what you thought about the first tee atmosphere, which was absolutely epic this morning.
Well, I think I might be bad luck because I finally, I came over to Team Europe and all of a sudden it's 6-2 after day one, but it's great. I think all golf fans get really excited about the Ryder Cup. It's been 3 years of hype, conjecture, conspiracies, back and forth bickering, and that kind of leads to overhype, I would say, because people just want the golf to start, and you kind of felt that on the first tee a little bit. The vibe, there's nothing like it in sports. All the players that we've interviewed, that I'm sure you've interviewed over the years, they say the most nervous they ever get in golf is on the first tee at the Ryder Cup. So it was nice to just have that environment. Golf doesn't get, especially in the professional realm, you don't get team golf very often, once a year, twice a year, maybe. And so to get it and to have it actually, unfold here at Whistling Straits, it was a beautiful day with a little bit of wind. Yeah. So outside of the results, it was an excellent start to the Ryder Cup.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that. But we were talking about the first tee, and I was there at the crack of dawn this morning to get one of the best experiences in golf. It's been 3 years in the making, but we're finally on the first tee of the 2020 Ryder Cup. The noise is electric. Now, some of the thousands of fans have waited hours to get in, so I'm going to get up there and speak to them. What time did you get here this morning?
We got here about 5:30.
Okay, and how would you sum up the atmosphere in this crowd already?
It's wild. It's absolutely wild.
This is very, very impressive. Is it keeping you warm?
Oh, I feel great. The adrenaline's rushing. We're ready for the Ryder Cup, baby. Come on!
Whistling Straits, you can't beat it. It was worth it. We got up at 1 o'clock in the morning. We were in line at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's all for this.
This is the most electric thing I've ever experienced ever. I've heard people talk about it all the time. The first tee at the Ryder Cup, and we're here.
This is the biggest rock concert that I will ever see. I've been to some pretty big concerts, but this atmosphere is crazy.
Woo! Let's go! Come on, baby!
We bleed red, white, and blue. We're never going to experience this again for the first time. So to get here on the Friday morning on the first tee is, and to be right here, it's pretty special.
We are outnumbered, and I think our songs won't be heard, but we're going to give it everything that we got because these guys need us.
That noise, the players are starting to arrive on the first tee, and the crowd are going nuts. It was incredible. It gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. I couldn't get over how deafening the crowd were, the noise at 6 a.m. and the gates opened and that place just filled up in seconds.
People were rowdy, especially here in the States. Our fans are known for being, pretty rowdy. And I thought in the morning it was definitely loud. People were excited, but I think it was even rowdier in the afternoon on that first tee. People get a chance to have a few beers, maybe a few cocktails. That changes the entire environment. But yeah, like I said, it's pent up. I feel like 3 years, the pandemic, the extra year. People wanted this Ryder Cup. I'm glad they postponed it for a year. I think that was the right call. And again, you could just kind of feel it. And it's so different in that, in the Ryder Cup, there's only 4 real groups on the course at any moment. So you don't have, 156 golfers spread across the course to go disperse the crowd. So everybody's packed in there. They're excited. They're ready to kind of hurl positive stuff, maybe a little bit of negative stuff because you don't get that in golf all the time. So I think, again, I'm a big fan of the crowds. I'm a big fan of the rowdiness. I think golf needs more of it. So it was nice to see today.
You've been to so many big sporting events. How does it compare to some of them?
It's up there. I think that first tee vibe, because there's such anticipation, and in the States here, we obviously have playoffs with a lot of our sports, with hockey, with football, and those big playoff games where you get a week's worth of talk and chatter and hype and all of that kind of leads to the big moment. It's very similar to a lot of the biggest events I think that we have, which is great for golf because, again, it's usually just an individual sport. You don't get this kind of environment. You don't get the camaraderie. You don't get the high fives and the fist bumping and all that stuff. So to have it be as unique as it is, have the big stars that golf has on both sides out there, kind of swallowing their pride a little bit and their egos and being part of the team. It just delivers something that's really, really unique in golf, and I think people get fired up for it.
Man, you sum it up so well.
Thank you.
Right, so the score after day 1 of the Ryder Cup is USA on 6 and Europe on 2. You were out on the course for a while today. What were your kind of general observations from day 1?
It was just everything was firing on all cylinders for the U.S. squad, and we had Bryson hitting 417-yard tee shots.
That was insane.
70-something yards into a par 5. We had Justin Thomas eagled 16, and he's doing the "Are you not entertained?" the gladiator to the crowd. So all those things are going well for the U.S. Rory didn't have his best day, but then there were some clear signs. Obviously, I thought on the European side. John Rahm, who's the number 1 ranked player in the world, obviously he brought it. Him and Tyrrell Hatton were able to kind of grind out a half point there at the end. So it's not unheard of for a team to be down 4 points and find a way to win. So I think we'll be fine.
And you can see the wind. Us Europeans like the windy conditions, so maybe that'll keep up.
I know, and it's like it's an American links, not a true links, and everybody's discussing that. You can't really run the ball up; you got to fly it. So it is what it is. Again, it's on home soil for the U.S. team, so they're going to have the home crowd behind them. They were able to get off to a good start. It could have been worse. It felt like it could have been 7-1 at a moment there, especially when JT makes that eagle. You're thinking, are they going to flip every match? So 6-2, I would say at the end of the day, not great, but could have been worse.
What is it you like about the vibe of the European team?
Just kind of, it feels like they've had, since the last 15, 20 years that I've been kind of a big golf fan, they've had that underdog mentality. They've kind of rallied around each other instead of being able to rally around necessarily being the biggest stars or being the lowest in the world rankings. They've kind of rallied again around that camaraderie, around building a legitimate team atmosphere. And, I come from team sports. I played hockey pretty much my whole life. And most of us on a day-to-day basis outside of golf, we follow team sports. So we're used to that type of atmosphere. We're used to guys, girls giving each other a hard time in the locker room.
Yeah.
And it seems, again, like the European team has done that. And counter to that, part of the reason that I've been down on the American side is it's just felt like they haven't done that. They haven't fully embraced it. And some guys do for sure. But a lot of times it just takes a few people on the team to kind of hurt that chemistry and put a couple fractures in there that can be the difference between winning or losing. So and the European Ryder Cup and just European Tour in general does a phenomenal job with the videos that they put out. So hard for me not to root for that.
Thank you. Well, I was going to say that, like, how does it differ from the American team? And do you think that it's slightly different with them this year? Do you think they've kind of come together as a team a little bit more?
It seems like it so far, and it seems like it too. I mean, they've got 6 rookies, so I think that helps, right? And again, one of my big sort of gripes with the American team over the years has just been it's felt like a lot of the same, and it's felt like the same kind of a little bit of a crusty. There's some scar tissue in there from losing, Ryder Cups that maybe the American team shouldn't have won over the last couple decades in this century. that maybe they were able to get out of there now. Maybe they're able to kind of help cultivate a winning environment, a winning team, kind of more of that what the European team has had over the last 20 years by bringing in 6 rookies and having them get a good start and get a couple wins early. And Patrick Cantley seems to be pretty badass out there. I think him, Xander Schauffele. So some of this young talent that the American team has, I think, from their side could be very promising going forward.
Yeah, okay. Well, the fans were definitely fired up in the opening round of the Ryder Cup. We talked about them on the first tee, and I can't wait to get your reaction to the fans on the course. Well, Riggs, the fans on the course, I mean, we know that the European supporters, like us, we're very outnumbered.
Us, big time.
Yeah, us. It's all about us.
It is. We're
Make
a big
it count.
us this week. Yep.
And what are the American fans like? The weird thing for me today was seeing the European team hole a putt and it being silent. It's a strange dynamic at times.
Yeah, that silence could be deafening.
Yeah.
And it's, you're always looking for momentum in a team sport. That's why you're high-fiving. That's why you're trying to get it going. You're trying to turn that momentum. If it's not going your way, you're trying to really bury the other team with it, when it is going your way. And, man, when you make a big putt and it's just dead silent and then the other team, makes a big putt or a normal putt or it does anything decent and the crowd goes crazy, it can kind of wear on you throughout the day. So, I think that's probably their standpoint. They're yelling traitor at me all day.
Well, this is my next point. The fans are not just rooting against the European team. A lot of them are rooting against you too, because you are out there supporting Team Europe and you have been on your social media for a really long time in the build up to this. So you are getting called a traitor. I read something you tweeted about it earlier and someone replied saying that you're demolishing the brand. I'm like, whoa. So let's go back to the very beginning.
Yep.
Why, as an American, are you supporting Europe this week?
They're likable. There are a lot of guys that it seems like you'd really like to go have a beer with.
Okay.
And I think, as a consider myself a pretty normal person, extraordinarily normal human being, that this is what people like to do. Sit at a bar, have a drink, bust balls with your pals, give each other a hard time. The European team does that extremely well, so I find them very easy to root for.
Okay.
And I've thought over the years, it's just added up that the American team seems to have, in certain instances, a little bit more prima donnas. There were reports back in the early 2000s they wanted money to play in the Ryder Cup. We had Phil Mickelson going at Tom Watson. We had Patrick Reed at the end of Paris calling the New York Times and all of the drama. And then we had Brooks Koepka and Bryson leading up to this. And it just felt, again, if I'm going to really pick who do I like, who seems so likable and enjoyable that you want to root for, to me it seemed, for most of the players, more like the European players than a lot of the American.
We want to definitely welcome you to the team. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you this video. And this video was the one that was shown to the guys in the team room on Thursday night.
You know, legend can be an overused word.
But when potential meets opportunity, that landscape changes.
And the Ryder Cup provides unique possibilities to leave a mark.
I mean, how many times can you deliver a once-in-a-lifetime moment?
Well, every 2 years, if you're lucky.
But sometimes once is enough.
That was from Constantino Rocca.
For the first-timers, finding their seat in the team room will be the last journey they will ever make alone.
From the moment they arrive, they become family.
And nobody messes with the family.
We always play beside each other, for each other.
It's difficult to put into words the impact that feeling has.
Those who have been there before know. Those who haven't will.
Europe, wait to take the cup home! Hello!
Our unity has always been our passion, our pride.
And togetherness amounts to more than you can ever imagine.
With that, anyone can achieve the extraordinary.
That is the real Ryder Cup magic.
Ain't that the truth?
Now for each of you, the hardest journey has been getting here.
And now that you have your number,
you know you're valued.
It's time to create more history. So go out there and make it count.
Well, I mean, that video is so powerful. Like, it just sums up the togetherness, the camaraderie, the fact that, like, these guys are a team.
How do you not root for that?
I know,
How do
right?
you watch
I
that? You want to
know.
run through a wall. You understand why this team wins, why they're 7-2 this century, despite being underdogs most of the time. Like, you just get it. You see that video, you get excited. I can't even imagine what it was like in that room.
I know.
So yeah, I mean, that's just what I'm talking about. That's why we're Team Europe.
Riggs from Barstool, thank you for being here because the weather is terrible. It's getting worse by the minute. I don't know why I bothered doing my hair today because we're standing on a very windy Whistling Straits. But we're going to recap day one a little bit. The score being USA on 6, Europe on 2. Who was your kind of standout performance on the European team today?
Well, John Rahm, I think that was probably expected. You know, he's, again, clearly the #1 ranked player in the world. I thought he made some really clutch putts. If it weren't for him, it could be extremely dire going into day two, but he did what he's supposed to do. I think that could be inspiring. I thought Sergio Garcia in the morning looked amazing, and there's always a little bit of concern kind of when you go with some older guys. Yes, you get that experience. Yeah, they've got a lot of good memories about winning Ryder Cups, but, you know, is it a little too late? You kind of wonder that. And for Sergio to step up and play that well, I think that he's going to have, you know, some bright moments going forward the next couple days. So there's some bright spots for sure.
Okay, and on the US team, who do we really have to be worried about?
Whew, there's quite a few. I thought Colin Morikawa this morning looked really good. Clearly that team is Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantley. You know, Cantley coming hot off the FedEx Cup victory, how well he's been playing to kind of get paired up, you know, there with Xander and really to look good throughout the entire day. He could be a serious problem. He's going hatless too, so I don't know if he's trying to send
what is that?
a message to Rory. I don't know. He doesn't look as good as Rory hatless, but he's playing really well, and so then it's kind of like maybe he is a hatless guy, so that's a little bit scary. So he's a problem. Justin Thomas looked like he was kind of heating up later in the day. That eagle that he made on 16, and he's kind of getting the crowd going. He made a few putts out there, so yeah, there's plenty of Americans I think that got to be worrisome as well.
Okay, well, as you say, we are a little bit worried. It's not the start we were looking for here at the Ryder Cup, but if you were the captain. Gosh, what a thought.
I'll take it. I'll be the captain.
This could be starting a long route of Europeanness for you.
You know, it's funny because people were, if my predictions going into this Ryder Cup would have been correct, I think many people would have been lobbying for me to be captain. However, I thought Europe was going to come in here clearly, get the win. I was chirping the way the Americans have been doing it. And so far, it looks like it's going the opposite way. So I don't know that a captaincy's in my future.
Well, but we still have time. And if you were captain, what would you be telling the guys right now?
Well, I don't even know that necessarily they need to be told a ton. What I would try to rely on and lean on is, again, the fact that there's a handful of guys on the European team that have won a lot of Ryder Cups. They understand what it takes. They've been down before. Medina in 2012. You know, there's plenty of guys from that squad that they can use that experience, their leadership, help a lot of the other guys through it. If they're younger guys, they weren't part of that. They understand that 6-2, it seems great. But if you go out, you make putts, you hit good shots, you win matches, all of a sudden things can go your way. So I don't know they need to panic. I think they know that. I think they've been in these situations. So I would just tell them go out and do what they've always done.
And if you were to make any predictions for day 2, what would they be right now, especially when it comes to the European side and potentially evening things out a little bit?
I think it's going to get a little closer on day 2. I thought that the American side looking really good in foursomes is unusual. That's clearly not, in recent history been their strongest form, but they Stricker had them, play that first, play that in the morning, and they did really well. I don't know that you'll see a 3-1 again in the morning in terms of foursomes, so I think that should hopefully benefit the European squad if they can kind of tighten that up. But then I really think Sunday singles. I think singles, 12 points. Obviously, people know it could be madness. Anything could happen. You start to get a little bit of blue up there on the leaderboard. All of a sudden, it trickles down, and you get a lot of adrenaline going. You get a lot of momentum going. So I think it'll get a little bit closer day 2. And then day 3, we go crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Who would be your dream foursomes pairing on the European side?
Whew.
If you were captain, in that ideal world.
Wow. Well, I honestly, I would say clearly Rahm. I don't know how you could not go with Jon Rahm and what he's done. So far, there's only been 2 points. I like Rahm and Hovland.
Yeah, me too.
I think Victor Hovland, he's been going hatless as well out there. He's so adorable. He's got that cute look to him, yet he's a menace. He clearly plays great golf. He's always smiling.
Yeah.
He just seems so happy all the time.
Right.
So you kind of mesh that with Jon Rahm and his intensity. I think you got a dream pairing right there.
Okay. Right, well, Riggs, thank you so much, because this weather is turning horrendous.
Horrific weather.
We braved out.
I don't think we've talked about that enough. The weather has just been, this whole time, it's been horrible.
I've been wearing my hat the whole time. I take it off for this. You get it, and at least your ears are warm.
I'm very cozy with this
good.
thing.
Right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the Ryder Cup. Thank you for watching our show, and don't forget to follow along with everything we're doing. We're at Ryder Cup Europe on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram, and we'll be back with another show to recap the action after day 2.